Hello, all. Well, I'm sitting here just reflecting on all the different characters I have met. The first one I ever met was someone who married a woman who was bisexual. He knew that. Well, why wouldn't he? Every man's dream, two women in bed with him. She left him shortly after their son was born, moved out of while he was at work, and but he she would like him to dress in her lingerie and heels. And I thought, wow, that's weird. And I called him his name Stiletto. And I was telling my friend, I was like, oh my God, I met this guy. You're not going to believe what he told me. She goes, listen, my husband told me, if I said to him, listen, if you dress in my lingerie and heels, you're guaranteed sex tonight, he'd be tripping over himself going up the stairs. I'm like, oh, wow, really? Now you have to understand, I am in basically a sexless marriage. So my ex being my first. So I was very naive about a lot of things. And then the the funniest thing was this one guy talking to him online and having a normal conversation. You live in a house, apartment, how many kids you have, what do you do for a living, blah, 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 blah. Then he says to me, how is your lawn manicured? And I'm like, how's my lawn manicured? I'm like, oh, the ex still does my lawn. He says, really? So you still have relations with your ex? I was like, no, I told you. Like, we're basically been two people sharing a house. Apologize for my hair. I took it down because it was annoying and being up in a ponytail all day and looks pretty crappy, but sorry about that. So I'm like, so the conversation got, and then I'm like, I told you he's a control freak, blah, blah, blah. And then he says, I realized. And then I'm like, oh, I think we're talking about two different lawns here. I didn't know that was referred to as the lawn. So what do I know? So, like I said, naive. Then I was, this one guy, his mother took his phone. I might have told you some of these stories. His Big Bang Theory, how Howard and his mom would be yelling back and forth at each other. Oh my God, that was him and his mother. She would call and he's like, I'm out, I told you, I'm out. And I mean, in a restaurant, I'm like, you might want to take that outside. I'm sitting there ready to crawl under the table. Then from there, told you about the guy with the chapstick. That was crazy. The guy that was living, losing his house and planning on living in his van. The one guy, you can't make this stuff up. The one guy, so angry. We met down by the water and he's like, oh, wow, there's a place you can buy fishing stuff. Let's go in there. I want to see if I can get a fishing license. Probably not, because nowhere. Well, it turns out he was from somewhere out west. And he turned around and, like, bashing New Jersey, New York, this whole area, the tri-state. And I was like, why do you live here? He's like, well, why do you think? I came here for a job, better pay, I'm like, oh my God. He wanted to go out again too. I was like, oh, I don't think so. You think this went well? I don't think so. The one guy that he's like, oh, why don't we meet, at such and such place, which was a bar. He's like, but afterwards, you'll have to drive me to a meeting. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, well, um, I'm really not supposed to drink, but every once in a while, I feel like the need to have a drink. So then I go to a meeting and then I'm good for a while. Oh my God. No, you're an alcoholic and you shouldn't be drinking. No, I don't think so. I mean, so many men, and listen, my guy friends have the same stories. Like, there's so many men that I have met that are looking for a place to live. And they're like, oh, your kids live with you? Oh, well, when are we going to have alone time if your kids live with you? I'm like, well, don't you live on your own? Well, yeah, but we're not going to come here. Oh, really? I don't get it. And there are guys that just, they're like, oh, let's go sit in your car. And my sister's in the dating world, and she's like, yeah, I learned pretty quickly what they mean when they say, why don't we go sit in your car? And no, I mean, there was one guy, we're walking and talking and walking and talking. And then he said, there's something I need to tell you. It's, I usually wait, but I like to be upfront. He was divorced like 3 times. I'm like, okay. And can I ask why each time? And he's like, well, my first wife, we were young. Second wife, she cheated on him. Third wife, I honestly couldn't remember, but it didn't sound well. It didn't sound good. So I'm like, oh, okay. He didn't reach out again. And then there was this one guy. Oh, excuse me. He lived alone. But he's like, oh, you live with your kids, do that, you get any alone time? And I'm like, why? We met a couple of times. And then we went to dinner. And I don't know how this subject came up of cheating. And he sat there across from me. And I can tell you this. I got a feeling in my gut. Something was telling me something's off about this guy. And he's like, oh, why would anybody cheat? I don't, and he wouldn't look at me when he was saying it. And then I asked him, I was like, I don't even know your last name. And I said, we've been out 3 times. I don't even know your last name. So he tells me his last name. Ooh. And my friend, who she pays for this service to look up people because she has a business. And she says, give me his phone number. She's like, no, that's not his name. His name came up. So I put it in my Facebook. Boom, it pops up. And the profile picture, his profile picture is him and some woman. And they've been in a relationship for like 3 years. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I couldn't believe it. So I told a little white lie. I said, hey, did you know? And this is true. This part is true. When you put someone's phone number in your phone, excuse me, it's getting late. It's after 10. Sometimes they come up as a friend that you might know on Facebook because I'm like, oh, wow, this is the guy that I met. How did, and my friend told me that if you put their number. So I screenshotted it and I sent it to him. And I said, I don't, I was like, do you care to explain? Because I went on my Facebook today and this came up as a friend you might know. And his answer to that was, what is your name on Facebook? What is my name? You see, it's not my picture. So he would have no clue it's me. And I don't have my real last name. So, and the reason for that is I'm not trying to hide. I just only want to be friends with people who know what my name is on Facebook. And because people said, oh, I'm trying to find you on Facebook. And it's like, oh, that's really weird because I don't want to be friends with them. He's like, what is your name on Facebook? So I have this other Facebook page for my pictures. I take a lot of pictures and photographs and I like to post them there. So that's the only reason I have it. Excuse me, I'm so sorry I'm yawning so much. And I sent him a friend request under that Facebook. And wham, right away, blocked me on that. Well, guess what? I got your girlfriend's name. And I felt, some people say I shouldn't get involved. It's none of my business. Yeah, if it was me, I'd want to know. So it seemed they, maybe not live together, but they're together a lot. So and he was semi-retired. So sorry. So I sent her a message and she didn't answer me. So I tried. Then I had another guy I met. Seemed so nice. Gentleman, everything. And I Googled his name. And it came up on Cheaters Land. Cheater, like you cheat on someone. Cheaters Land. And the things women were saying. And I was like, oh my God. So I, again, under my photo Facebook, where I post my pictures that I take, I Googled him. Sure enough, he's with some woman. He's living with her. He doesn't work. He has a boat because she pays for it. They've been together for years and years. And she's got lots of money. And she said, are you kidding me? I was like, here you go. Here's the messages he sent me. And she's like, that's his number. Oh my God, I can't believe it. That I said, he was on a dating site. I even screenshotted his profile for her. She's like, I can't believe he's doing this to me again. I'm done with him. We're supposed to go on a trip in 3 weeks. I can't believe this. Well, guess what? I waited about a month and looked. They went on that trip together. So I did my part. And she says how upset she is, but she's still with him. She still went on the trip with him. And guess what? I checked months later. Still with him. Current pictures of them. I'm sorry. I have too much self-esteem. Even though I'm maybe don't have the confidence I should have, I'm not going to be with someone. Because I was with this one guy. And let me tell you. A whole woman's wardrobe in his closet. And he came out of the shower. I was dressed. And he went in the bedroom. And I opened the closet door and I go, care to explain? He's like, what were you doing in my closet? I said, I did. And this is the God's honest truth. He had a plastic ShopRite bag hanging from the knob. And he did tell me, oh, be careful of, please don't go near the closet doors that, they're broken there. And I seen him go on his side And it was kind of off track, and he had to kind of, play with it. So I had blown my nose. I threw the tissue in there, and the door kind of opened, and I see this pink glittery sweater. And I was like, are you kidding me? Kind of was hoping he was a cross-dresser. So I then slide the door as much as I can, and I put my head in the closet, and there's a whole woman's wardrobe. So then I open the nightstand by me, and there is in a Ziploc all these women's toiletries. Then I go on his side, which was a small dresser, not a nightstand, small dresser, and there is women's panties and bras in one drawer, women's shirts in another drawer, women's skirts and pants in another drawer. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So that's why I questioned him. And he didn't answer. And then I sat at the table, waited for him to get dressed and come out. And he's like, you want coffee with your breakfast? Are you freaking kidding me right now? I said, you know what? I think I'm going to go. I was like, because, and I went to go, and then I said, no. I was like, what the hell is with a whole woman's wardrobe in your closet? Like, we were together 5 weeks. I slept with this guy. And he asked me if I was seeing anyone. And when I said no, he goes, are you talking to anybody? No. He goes, are you seeing anybody? I said, no. Are you talking to anybody else? No. And he goes, good. I don't want you to. Silly me. I should have said, are you seeing anybody else? Are you talking to anybody else? I did not ask him. Silly me. He brought that up later. And I said, are you kidding me? I was like, what is with... He goes, I'm not ready for this. I'm not prepared for this conversation. I was like, you don't need to prepare for the truth. He's like, it was someone I was seeing, and like 2 months ago. And I'm thinking, we've been seeing, even though I said 5 weeks, it's probably longer than that. My friend's like, no, Terry, it was like 3 months that we were seeing each other. Not like all the time, like once a week, twice a week, And I was going to school at the time. And he actually did me a favor though. I ended up, I was coming there after class. I was like, oh, okay. He goes, this is the only night I could see you. Whatever. Okay. Come there after class. Tired and all. Yeah. And I'd go home like midnight, exhausted, the next day. I mean, I was taking 3 classes, working full time. I was freaking exhausted. But I'm going over there. I mean, well, we'd go to dinner and then I'd go over there. And I'm like, you don't need to prepare for the truth. And he's like, oh, well, this girl I was seeing like 2 months ago. And, we broke up like 2 months ago. And, she hasn't come for her clothes. And I'm like, at the time, I was just too upset to think, we've known each other longer than 2 months. We've been seeing each other longer than 2 months. So I said to him, well, why wouldn't you bag it all up, put it in the hallway, and say, it's in my hallway, come get it, or I'm throwing it out to the dumpster. You have this much time. Oh, I don't know. I'm not prepared. I said, you know what? I'm going. I'm leaving. If you're not going to have a conversation I'm leaving. And and then I start to cry. I'm like, I really feel like an asshole. I feel like a jerk. So, okay, I leave. I'm upset. I did. I sat in my car and cried. Not so much that I felt like such an idiot. I stayed over there how many times? in this 3 month, like the first month, no, I didn't. But last 2 months, stayed over there. And I'm like, oh my God, how stupid am I? So I turned around and I was like, all right. I left in my car. I'm crying, whatever. I just out of like, oh my God, you stupid idiot. You are an idiot. Like, I really felt stupid. Then he texts me and he's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, this was a couple days later. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And it was the weekend. And I said to him, you know, can you come over here so we could talk? So he comes over. He's like, hey, gives me a hug. Like nothing is wrong. And he sits down and like I'm sitting in this chair. Across my living room is another chair. So he sits in that chair. And I was like, can I ask you something? You asked me if I was seeing anyone else. And I said no. So you said, good. Glad I don't want you seeing anyone else. Are you talking to me? No. He goes, well, you didn't ask me. Oh, dear God. Then I said to him, have you had sex with anybody else after we've had sex? Yes. I said, are you freaking kidding me? I was like, I talked to you, told you how I felt. I don't want to be with someone else that's sleeping with other people. I was like, why didn't, I start questioning why, do you have your kids every weekend? He's like, you know what? I feel like I'm being treated like a little kid. I don't need to I don't need this kind of questioning. I was like, I'm trying to have an adult conversation with you. You're the one acting like a child by not answering me. He's like, I'm not answering that. I'm not answering that. I felt like I was with my ex-husband because my ex-husband would say, and the judge goes, well, he did answer you. I would ask him something, goes, I cannot answer that at this time. And I said to the court, when I ask him something, I'd like him to answer me. Well, he is. I go, by telling me he can't answer me at this time. I go, he needs to give me a timeline when he can answer. This is about our children. So that's what this guy is saying. And I was like, I'm done. I was like, you know what? Show yourself out. Don't bother to text me again. Don't bother in a couple days. Hey, how you doing, babe? Whatever. And he goes, fine. I don't need this. Goodbye. I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, he thought, God blessed him, let me tell you, that was phenomenal. But if I had a choice, if someone said to me, you'll either be alone the rest of your life, which I'm kind of okay with that. It'd be nice to have someone. Or him, who, God blessed, but is pretty much a moron. And the other guy that was a sweetheart, was a gentleman, everything, but it just wasn't there in the bedroom. I would choose that guy, the nice guy, because this guy is an asshole. There is a saying. I've met some muscle guys that really, and they're into curvy women and everything. They are gorgeous, but they are so ugly on the inside. Oh my God. They're like looking at every mirror. They're like, looking at their, self and checking out every woman that walks by that's, probably, they think is looking at them. No. I mean, I've had guys that are average, that are not bad looking, average shape, whatever. Again, ugly on the inside. They're just like that guy that was so angry about being here in the tri-state and bashed everything about, oh yeah, I wanted to come to an overcrowded houses, one on top of the other. Why did you come here? Oh, for a better job and a lot better pay. Well, you know what? Go back out west. Go back. I don't care. Like, it really annoys me. Like, so listen, I don't look at people's salaries. I know I said I'd like someone that makes at least the same money as me. So I kind of can tell, like, the guy that was losing his house and going to live in a van, the guy that, does, keeps meeting and meeting for coffee and doesn't say dinner, obviously can't afford it. Listen, when my kids were younger, when I was dating, after I started to date, after Frank, which, let's see, he died in April 3rd of 2013. It took me until November of 2014 to start to look for somebody again. And there was one guy, he's like, well, I go, oh, I said, oh, I'm renting. And, no, I was living in my house, I'm lying. But even when I rented, after I moved out of the house and was renting, I was like, oh, I'm renting. And he's like, I was like, oh, I go, do you rent or own, do you, live in a house, apartment? He's like, well, I live with my mother, because I'm paying half the mortgage and, child support and alimony till she can get on her feet and, get a better job. And he's like, so I guess nice talking to you. I said, no, I am okay with that. You're doing the right thing by your child, or some of them children. You're doing the right thing. So your kids can stay in their home. But now that I'm older, yes, I love my granddaughter. She's 5 years old. I have her every other Saturday. Yes. And I enjoy my time with her. But somebody that has a child that young, and trust me, there are men out there that do. I mean, my cousin's husband at 52, 53, his second wife was much younger, I think 39, had another child with her. Then my sister's ex-husband in June, who's 49, just had a baby with his second wife, who's much younger than him. So you figure 52, that baby's 3, 53, that baby's 4, 55, which I'm 57, so if someone's 55, they could have a 6-year-old. Nope, sorry. I understand. I'm not their mother. I'm not taking on that role. But I have freedom to do what I want. My kids are grown. That person doesn't. And I shouldn't say I never would. I met this one guy and we really hit it off. And he had, what was it, like 10 and 12-year-old. That didn't bother me so much. So, but these men, the things that they say and come up with, and I don't know. I mean, one guy actually said to me, listen, I got a big dick and women just love me. I can tell you though, some women do not. Like this one guy was well endowed, and this woman said to him, "Nope, sorry." So some women my age are really not too much into sex. Some of my friends, they're like, I kind of lost interest. Okay, I hope I never do. Some of my friends, like, that are tinier, they're like, I don't know. I couldn't deal with someone that big. They're like 5 inches, yeah, even 6 is pushing it because they're tiny. So, men that are smaller, hey, don't feel bad. Your woman's out there because some women do like someone with a smaller penis. So some don't want that big, guy with the big penis. And like I said, I watched a TLC thing, and I think it was the Learning Channel. Pretty sure it was, or Discovery Health or something. Maybe it was Discovery Health. And I got an itchy nose. It means a fight. That they really, guys that had like 12 inches, 11, 12 inches, they said they had a hard time. Like, I don't think not one of them was married. They said they have a hard time because they can't even fully go in a woman. So it's hard for them to have sex. And so they, it's a hard time having a relationship. And they don't want to come right out and, I feel bad for them. Like some men are attracted to me just because I have big boobs. Those men, they start talking to someone, dating someone, and then it comes to the sex part. And the woman's like, holy cow. And I mean, the one guy was like, he goes, I have to share something with you. And he dropped his pants, and she's like, whoa. She's like, oh my God, you're going to kill me. And sex wasn't even fun because he said it's not enjoyable. Because most women, he just can't go all the way in. And I feel sorry for him. I do. Like, you wonder, why does God, well, my grandmother said if everybody was the same size, and I think she meant weight-wise, but if everybody was the same, this life would be boring. So I agree. I mean, there's times I say, oh my God, how could she, I know someone that had freaking 5 kids and still looks fantastic. It's like, how? I had 2 and destroyed my body. I know women that have flat stomachs. Like my stepsister. She's bigger like me, but completely flat stomach. 3 kids. Well, unfortunately, her one child passed away shortly after he was born. But flat stomach. She has I'm like, huh? So everybody's different. But some guys are attracted to me because of my boobs, my ass. I mean, this one guy, I said, oh, the doctor wants me to lose weight, so I have to lose weight. Oh, I don't want you to lose weight. I love you the way you are. That's not, and I said, thank you, that's nice. I am still going to be the same person on the inside. I am who I am. But for me, I need, for my health, to feel better. And I'm really questioning this because my aunt has a thyroid problem. She actually had to have like thyroid surgery. And this is what she had before it. So I'm like very conscious of this. But so everybody's different. I mean, I know some girls that they call them mosquito bites because they have no boobs whatsoever. They can go around with no bra. You can't tell. Oh, God. We always want what we don't have. I think. Like, I always wanted, like, curly. It looks flat now, but if I take and wash my hair and, you know, blow dry, not blow dry it, but just let it dry naturally, it's pretty wavy. And of course, I used to have it like right up to here, and then it was curlier. But that didn't happen until I was 40. I always had pin straight hair, and I always wanted curly hair. And I know girls that had curly hair and wanted straight hair, actually got it straightened. I didn't want a big ass. Ugh, or big boobs. But I got both, ass and boobs. In my family, I was Buffalo Butt, and the song by Queen, Fat Bottom Girls. And when I was 11, people thought I was like 15, 16, because the boobs. I developed early. So we always want what we don't have. And this guy that was like 12 inches and said I can't even enjoy sex because I can't fully go in a woman. He's like, do I wish at times I was 6 inches? Yeah, I really do. I don't know how I, came that I am 12 inches because his father was average, he said, and which is between 5 and 6 inches is average. He said my dad is average. No one in the family that my father knows of. Not that people talked about it back then. More now than then. But I wish I had a flatter stomach. I really do. But I've had 2 C-sections, hysterectomy. So it's been cut. The muscles are shot. But I don't know. We always want what we don't have. And I'm sure men that are smaller wish they were bigger. And I didn't even know until I met that nurse, that OR nurse, that penis enlargement was actually a surgery, a thing. I mean, us women get breast reduction, breast implants. So, I don't know, is there such thing as penis reduction? These guys that are like 12 inches. I mean, some men that are smaller might say, what are they, crazy? There's just surgery for just about everything, but then we start playing with Mother Nature and what God gave us. I mean, some people don't believe in God, so if you don't believe in God, Mother Nature, what Mother Nature gave us, what we were born with, I don't know. We tattoo our eyebrows on, so we don't have to do that. We do the fake eyelashes. We tattoo the eyeliner. We do the, plump up our lips. We get facelifts, eye lifts, facelifts. Oh my God. I would love to put my face back like this, but no. I know, weird. This is a very long video, but if I could think of other stories of other things, I don't know. I just have so many. I mean, I'm not trying to bash these men in any way, shape, or form, but they just weren't for me. And there's a lid for every pot, they say. So there's someone else's lid for someone else's pot. Not mine. But my eyes are closing. It is almost, oh my God, 11:15. I'm going to end this. Whoops, dropped something. Empty cup, thank God. I'm going to end this. I'm going to go take my medicine, wash my face, and get ready for bed and go to bed. So, it is almost Thursday. Yay. Thirsty Thursday. And then Friday. All right, people. I will talk to you later.